Welcome to Candid Conversations with Doc V, a collaboration with the unprecedented enterprise Win-Win Women, a global movement to reach, teach, and talk with women and girls around the world in 195 nations. As a woman heals, the earth heals. Our mission is to care, connect, and collaborate with 3.9 billion women worldwide so that all can enjoy a level of excellence in every area of their lives and be more joyful, fulfilled, and financially secure. We care by loving and inspiring all women. We connect as we teach and talk together. We collaborate to grow successful businesses. And to that end, Candid Conversations is where real talk about real experiences and circumstances is the norm and not the exception to help you heal, rebuild, and transform your life and or online business from the inside out and put you back in business to define your own path, right? So I'm Doc V, the Pivot Maestro, and your corner woman, here to provide you with truth, transparency, and love in conversation and help you navigate the waters and think without that box. What is my why? Folks, ladies, you are my why and motivation to create a safe haven, to validate you and your experiences, and to provide hope and freedom in your thinking and being so that you may live the life and lifestyle you were meant to lead. All are welcome to the conversations. And you'll notice we even have men in our audience, right? These are men who love supporters. They get it, ladies. They're a part of the solution, right? So with our topics, we focus on, they run the gamut, and they're focused on women's issues facing life every day, in the workplace, in business, career transition, you name it. It all starts with working on ourselves from the inside out, right? Healing so that we can be successful CEOs, women business leaders, so on and so forth. In Candid Conversation, it is always our intention to take you on a journey of revelation, reconciliation, and renaissance, having that one mission in mind to help you define your path. And one message, you are mission essential, ladies, and never forget that. Even as a woman, because we are constantly grace under pressure and the world needs our voices. So last week we our remix focused on a new understanding and redefinition of superpowers with respect to humanity and connecting the dots to finding, owning, and embracing our soul purpose in life. Today, our remix is about tapping into your mojo to see with true vision. And I am so excited that here on the Candid Conversations hot seat today to help us discuss our topic is the mojo maker, Pamela Sylvan. And before we bring her to the spotlight, let me tell you a little bit about Pamela. One, she's my Win-Win Women sister. And Pamela is an executive mentor and energy confidence coach. She unleashes icons and works with women ready to create at their highest levels. Her education at Ryerson and York University in Toronto, along with decades in the personal development realm, has given Pamela that foundation to create content for women ready and willing to work on building powerful personal and career legacies. Folks, she's phenomenal. She's also a weekly show host, as I mentioned, with Win-Win Women, and an international speaker who has touched thousands of women globally and continues her empowerment work through Spark, an online community. And it's an online community initiative for women to connect, collaborate, and recreate their lives anew. Pamela is currently working on her newest book, Stop Lying and Stalling. I love it. How to finally get out of your way and empower your purpose and mission. Pamela says, welcome to Candid Conversations. I'm super excited to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Virginia. It's a pleasure to be here in front of your audience. I'm raring to go here with some really good mojo talk.
Yes. So let's jump right in. We got into a rather intriguing thought leadership conversation last week with Nancy Muller, and we were redefining superpower, the term superpower, from our fictional thoughts, and our comic characters into the realm into reality. And so a central point of that whole translation being our mind and soul connection to the supernatural through the spirit can unleash abilities and freedom and power, that can spring forth from us, based on our uniqueness, and trigger, and it's triggered by embracing our fears, owning and sharing and going beyond our story. As the mojo maker, what are your thoughts about this redefinition of superpower with respect to this individuality?
Well, I think your guest from last week, Nancy, It's Nancy. Yes, I think
Yes.
she's hit a nail on the head, and I would like to add that we have superpowers that not only define us uniquely, but I also want to flip it a little bit on its head. So let's go there a little bit.
Yes.
I think when we talk about superpower and uniqueness, it's sort of it sort of pigeonholes people a little bit as well, because a lot of people don't think they're that special or unique,
Hmm.
and they think that you have to do this humongous, important, shiny thing in order to have that be a superpower or to see it as valuable. And I just want everyone to know, even in your ordinariness, okay, even in
Hmm.
your ordinariness, if you can just be self-accepting of the person that you are, that in itself is your superpower. We all don't have to be celebrity. We all don't have to recreate the wheel. We don't all have to do something Instagrammable. And I think in our world of super media, if it's not on Instagram or wherever, we don't see the value, or we don't believe ourselves to be of value. I just want people to know, even in your everyday world and in your life, you have what it takes. To me, your superpower is right where you live every single day.
Oh, Pamela, that was brilliant. I love the fact that you brought that point out because we don't, we're conditioned in, to this competition, to, just this whole, you have to be extraordinary when we are extraordinary because, we are who we are and we're so different. It's that condition, that boxed in thinking,
Yeah.
that really affects our ability to see with the truth, or what I like to say, the true vision, much less be able to find our mojo. What are your thoughts about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I really think that really leaves a bad taste in our mouths, that there's a special few that make it to the top of the mountain. We're all here. We came in with purpose. We have to bring some meaning to that in whatever way that we find it, or whatever way we were given to do. And it doesn't have to make the news. It doesn't have to make LinkedIn. It just can be you expanding out into your inner circle, into your home, into the places that you work. And if it's just one person that you affect, first yourself and then one more, you are working with your power.
Yes, yes. Oh, brilliant. So let's talk about this whole concept of mojo. People have heard it, some may not have. Can you elaborate on that a little bit further before we get a little deeper into the conversation?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a word that I've chosen only because it has a cute way of sounding. We all know what it means. It's turned into a song, I believe, years ago. Got our mojo working, and it really is our vibe, our signature energy. We all have it. It's what animates us, our mojo, our energy. It's the vibe that flows through us. It's ineffable, but it's there. It's what brings us to life. One of my favorite analogies is, if you took apart, what's a high-end vehicle, a Rolls Royce, for instance. You took it apart and you spread it all apart, and the master mechanic was able to put it all together. Chances are he turned that key and that car would start, wouldn't it? Now,
Mhm.
a human being, you take it apart and you lay it all down, and the most masterful of surgeons will put us back together, and who we are and who we were has left.
Mhm.
It's just a body reassembled. So there
Mhm.
is something ineffable. There's an ineffable quality. You can call it the soul. You can whatever you want to call it. But it's that energy rising within us that keeps us energetic. It keeps us healthy if we have our minds put to it. That really defines how we move through our day and how we move through our life.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. I hadn't really thought of it in that way, of the energetic piece, right? That is so, that was really, that was very informative. I hadn't thought of it in that way because, we think it's just like maybe a charm, or, a creativity that we have, but we don't take it to that, like, we don't break it down to that nth degree.
Well, it has to be broken down to that nth degree. Yes. I come from the West Indies, and when we talk about mojo, we have that little red mojo bag, and in that bag are all little kinds of charms that you wear close to your person to ward off all kinds of evil spirits and things like that. And sure, so the word is also cognizant of that, but I'm using it in such a way that we have control over our lives. We don't need a rabbit's foot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it didn't
Mm-hmm.
work out for the rabbit, did it? We do not need a rabbit's foot to work our particular type of mojo. We just have to be clearly understanding about who we are, where we're going, and what's standing in the way. And that is the problem. The gap where you find yourself is the work to be done. Most people have a vision,
Yes.
but they can't cross the chasm to the vision because there are things in the way.
Absolutely. And we so often, because again, just that whole sociocultural conditioning or what have you, whether it's, family or your social circles or it's religion, we can't work our way past that. And so many people don't understand how to even start to improvise, adapt, and overcome, to bridge that chasm.
One of the things I see is a problem, especially on social media. We have this thing about we all we have to do is look away from the issue and light and sunshine and unicorns and rainbows, and we're all good to go somehow. By five, and you would have reached enlightenment and all of this. I'm going to say nonsense. I said it because really it's leaving so many people disappointed because it's not taking care of the issues at hand. We
Mhm.
have come in as beautiful beings. We have been layered on with all kinds of conversation and expectations, and there's drama and trauma that have hit
Mhm.
many of us. And
Mhm.
what are we supposed to do with that? Ignore it? We can't ignore it because it's now part of our DNA, right?
Right.
It's been internalized. So a lot of people are being, I believe, disappointed by this whole self-help world because, like to your point, it's being cookie cut to the
Mhm.
point where there's no substance anymore. Most people leading these conversations don't have a clue what's happening here.
Don't have a clue, and yeah, and leading, the masses blindly. So let's actually, because I was going to bring that up, well, actually, let's just go there. For particularly for our audience who are entrepreneurs, because on this show we're all about helping people be their own boss in mind, body, soul, and business. As entrepreneurs, um, when we're thinking about or if they're thinking about the entrepreneurial path, once we start thinking without that box, how important is it to identify your passion and soul purpose and know that beyond a shadow of a doubt, to access, to tap into those superpowers, that individual energy, and not, that mojo, and not allow the whole kind of cookie cutter environment take hold, take shape.
Well, I attribute it to fear. We're always going to go
Mm,
back to that place, fear. It's
mhm.
easier just to put on the costume of what it's supposed to look like
Yes.
as opposed to doing the work necessary to know thyself. We talk about
Mm,
authenticity. That word has become so ubiquitous because everyone's talking about it, but no one's investigated it. What does it mean to
right.
be yourself and to be authentic? Most people will never know. It's too scary. It's too much work. No time because I got to do Netflix instead. And all the cultural things that we do
Yes.
to be part of the masses.
Yeah.
But those that actually take the time to go investigate this thing called themselves, um, that's where the magic is. That's where the true mojo is. That's where all of this things that we're seeking, that's where it is. It can never be in page 59 of the latest book that's on the
Mhm.
best-selling list.
Mhm. Mm. Girl, those were such poignant points, and it's like we're looking for, we're all trying to manage our reality, right? And we're in survival mode, and we're just trying to find that lifeline. And there are those who are, quick, smooth talkers or what have you. And, we're looking toward these big names, which sets an impossible standard for folks to reach out and grab. So, there's just so much there that's preventing people, I
Yeah.
think, from even trying to start doing that deep dive. It's like, oh, you follow my system. This is what, these are the results. And that is, I have found that to be so untrue, honestly.
Yes, yes. I call it going on a quest of self apprenticeship. When you start to seek, you will be led to what you need to know. What you need to know is going to be different from what I need to know. Both of us going down the same road looking for the same thing isn't really going to do any of us any good. And I think when
Mhm.
people present their systems and their books, I mean, it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with it, but I hope people understand that that was the author's elixir for
Right.
their particular set of circumstances. Because how you started off in life is not how I started off in life. The messages that I got as a child in my home amongst my people with their set of issues are going to produce a particular type of human being that I came out to be. So I have to go looking for my key. So it's a self apprenticeship. I'll pick up this book, I'll go to this course, I'll hang out at this retreat, and I pick and choose the little bits and pieces that I can turn into something that I can use. But to blindly follow through on something without even investigating what you need, I think you're just setting yourself up for failure on that one.
Yes, so, so true. And that's where you also get into, just, basically throwing away or lighting a match to life savings, if that's the way you start to kind of invest in things because it's that fast cash, that quick money syndrome that we deal with in societies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can speak to this because that's what I was doing. I was throwing money at all kinds of things, hoping to get the answer, and not until
Yes.
I actually sat down and had conversation with myself to say, well, what do you really need? And wait for the answer. It's a biblical precept
Mm-hmm.
where we have to just be still,
Yes.
ask, and know. But we
Mm.
refuse to do that because it's too simple, too easy. I need to be doing something.
Oh, and that leads us to the whole conversation about competition, how that plays into just this inability to bridge that chasm. Yeah, it's if it's too simple, we think, oh, well, that can't be right.
No, no, there has to be more to this. And as a business person, Virginia, you know how it is that it's so easy to get caught up in that syndrome where you see somebody over there and they look like they have it going on, and maybe you're not doing it right or you're not doing it. We all fall into that trap with this whole comparinitis thing that we seem to be infected with.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's we can't help it. It's what social media does to us. It pushes those buttons on us. But I think if we have the courage and the fortitude to hold on to what we have to bring to the table, my offerings might be small, and it may not be as shiny. It doesn't make it less valuable. And I think we're so busy trying to make everything look pretty that we have forgotten to ask the question, but is there value? Does it work? Is it what that person needs?
So good, so good. And and oftentimes in the when people are coming, to our businesses to seek help or what have you, so many people make the mistake to not find out about that individual first, or what is their need, as opposed to, okay, what you offer, right, what your solution is, but how about find out what the potential client needs
Yeah.
and address that need, as opposed to just trying to hard sell or sell. Doesn't even have to be a hard sell. Connecting with that individual and meeting them where they are. And if they're not a fit, recommending, just when we invest with, yeah, yeah, please.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. We're so afraid that if we let this person out of our grasp, we won't get the money. So we can't even talk about other people or let other people in on I guess in the pie. That's all I can say. We,
Yeah,
again, fear. There is more than enough, but we don't believe it. We
right.
act like we don't believe it. We talk that game, but we don't do that game. I've been one of those people that's always advocating lift and climb. What does that mean? I can't handle every client on the planet, nor do I wish to. I want to have a life. I want to have some great experience, travel, do all these things. I do not need my phone ringing 24/7, right? And even
Right.
if I had a humongous team, then I have a humongous team that I have to deal with. So to me, that's how I wish to live my life. So I will introduce people to people. Here are more people to handle. Here, I think you'll be a better fit for this. Come, let me promote you because I'm also a promoter. And I think people just don't believe it because they're in this dog eat dog world that someone like me shows up and say, "Hey, let me help you do something," and it's so foreign to them. But how have we removed ourselves so far from this concept that we're actually we're eating ourselves. That's what we're
Yes.
doing. We turned on ourselves,
Yes.
and that's what I'm seeing out there in the world anyway.
Same, same. It's interesting because I recently, kind of over the past few months, it's like I've been having these, my own revelations, and I try to stay self-aware, self-assess, all of that. And I've been, just looking at, things that I might be involved in or people I might be associated with or what have you, and whether or not I'm aligned with it. Spirit has been busy, because my soul has finally been resuscitated, after I left that toxic environment in the workplace and, decided to, chose to pursue my soul purpose. And that alignment, when you start to really hone in on your alignment and your purpose, what you were meant to do, and what is your mojo. And you start looking at the associations that you're involved in, you might like those people well enough, right? But are you aligned with them, mission wise? Can you enhance them? Can they enhance you? Are they life giving or are they life smothering? What are their associations? And do you want to be a part of that? It's that's a whole nother level.
Well, of course it is, and we
Mhm.
have over complicated things.
Mhm.
Things are quite simple. Life is quite simple. There are a few precepts to follow it, and that's it. And if we followed it, all this other drama would take care of itself. But we just refuse to do it because we're following the popular conversation of the day. If you
Yes.
ever open your cell phone in the morning, you look at there's a that thing where it tells you all the news and all that, and there's always some article or something.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking they just slice and dice things to the nth degree to have something more to say the next day. And
Mhm.
people run to that information and think that's the information. And then the next day it's the same. We keep running to things without settling into something and understanding and asking, is this for me or not? Then wonder why they feel so lost all the time. And I
Mhm.
speak from experience because this is what was going on with me until I said enough
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
had to start unplugging myself from things.
Yes.
And what is the Pamela thing? Well, I found that, and that's why in the book that I'm writing, to stop lying and stalling to ourselves because that's exactly what we've done.
Yes.
And people don't want to admit that because
Mhm.
nobody wants to feel as if the problem sits with them. We have to take responsibility for things.
Right, right.
But
Yes. So
social media says that you don't have to do that.
right.
There's a chapter in the book called Navel Gazing 101 and Other Time Wasters, because this
Oh,
is what
wow.
we are being led to do.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Pam, girl, you are dropping diamonds all over the place. So many nuggets here. You mentioned here, there are some simple principles and concepts that to help us just kind of navigate these waters, of life, particularly when we're pursuing our own business or just trying to get to know who we are, first of all, before we can even really truly pursue anything successfully, whether it's relationship, career, business, uh, can you share those words of wisdom with us or that advice?
Well, we grew up hearing this either from when we went to some religious practice, or even our parents and our grandparents would say, just be nice to people. Can we do that? Can we honor the other human energy next to us? And we don't seem to do that anymore. Everything
Mhm.
is a confrontation and a problem. We just don't honor that golden rule anymore. What happened to the golden rule? They've been replaced by golden arches, is what's happened.
Mhm. True.
Golden rule has been thrown out the door. Love thy neighbor. When does this become such a thing that we don't do anymore?
Yeah.
That's a simple one, but we
Mhm.
don't do it. You ask anybody, oh, yes, I do that. And then the thing starts, right?
Yes.
So
Mhm.
just appreciate the other heartbeat in the room. Even if they don't, be the bigger person.
Yes.
Be the bigger person. Even if it means you have to step away from them just to keep the peace, do it.
You know what, girl? You are spitting knowledge and wisdom. I love it. Because people feel like that they just have to have the last word, and
Oh,
there's this back and forth thing, right? That's unhealthy and
because it's an
destructive.
IG thing. We got to show that we can do all that and flip our head and our fingers and we're all that in a bag of chips. No, we got to get back to what what we're losing here. It's common decency and respect for yourself and the other.
Yes.
How are we going to exist in the space? We have 8 million billion people on this planet. Things are getting crowded, right?
Right.
So we have to get back to a place of respect, or we're just going to war. I mean, we're almost there, right?
Right. And in some respects, we're there.
There,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So, like, I can't believe how fast time is blowing here, but I love the fact that I'm going to have time afterwards to talk to you. But can you give us any other thoughts about just this whole concept of, seeing with true vision and finding your mojo, tapping into those superpowers? What advice do you give us? What are some first steps, or how do you work with your clients?
Well, we start with jumping into a powerful, deep, loving relationship with the most important person that there is, right? It
Mhm.
has to be you. All power comes from you. And I
Yes.
know people are going to say, oh, well, no, all power comes from God. But how do you think God is emanating here?
Yes. Yes.
God
So
can't
good.
do anything without my hands and my mouth and my legs. And this is where it's coming from, right? So I
Hmm.
have to get good with myself.
Hmm.
I have to be in a place of forgiveness. This is all energetic work. People are poisoning themselves, still fighting with people that are dead and gone, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
Right.
what they did and what she got and what he
Yeah.
said and all of this stuff, yet they're
Right.
saying that they're loving people when you can't be and you're
Hmm.
still having those battles, right?
Yes.
So we hold on to trauma. That's another ubiquitous word there on social media. Everybody has trauma. Yes, we have trauma coming from when we were children, developmental, and we have shock trauma that we receive all through our lives. So nobody's special that way,
Hmm.
right? We all have this thing because we are alive. We have to move through life, and life is unpredictable, and there's not a lot we can control, but we can control how we set up the stories in our mind, and that's what takes us through on our daily journey. So it's learning about the relationship you have with you, and then how you have the relationship with the other.
Pamela Crow, you have given me life as usual, but it's just in an exceptional fashion today. I'm so happy you were my hot seat guest today to have this conversation. And just thank you so much for sharing your wealth of knowledge. And I know the audience is super excited to have you here with us. And I want to remind the audience to, if you've enjoyed this conversation, check out Pamela Sylvan. You'll be able to connect to her social media. Be sure to go back and watch this episode. Watch it multiple times because it was so much in it, and catch all those diamonds that she dropped. Tell a friend about the life-changing conversations we're having here on Candid Conversations and across the Win-Win Women Network platform. These are my sisters, and we are our sister's keeper. Your call to action is, and I want you to answer this with truth, transparency, love, and space for grace for yourself, as Pamela just beautifully said. Are you ready to see with true vision and find your mojo? And if not, what's holding you back? Think on the revelations you've received today, reconcile them with the path you're currently on, and move into your renaissance. It's never too late. It's always time to redefine and shine unapologetically. And ladies, if you're ready, or anyone for that matter, if you are heart-centered, if you're socially conscious, if you're about building a legacy, giving back, having a global impact, starting with just where you are, if you're ready to pivot and join what I like to call our Boss Nation, we are here for it. We're here for you at Defining Paths. We invite you to explore our virtual home and our one-stop shop at definingpaths.online for coaching, masterminds, masterclasses, service solutions, you name it. We're always collaborating, partnering with my beautiful sisters such as Pamela. And we offer so much more, and we want to help you connect the dots for your holistic transformation. And we want you to be a part of our family. We're a family who sees you, cares about you, and that's determined to put you back in business. So if you want to get your online business going, check out our 90-day True Vision Challenge. And it's a pretty extraordinary program. And if you're here for a safe haven, inspiration, or just personal betterment, welcome home. Welcome home. And thanks so much for spending time with us. We do not take it lightly. Be sure to come back next week, bring a friend, and follow us on social media. Follow Pam on social media. My handles are Pivot Maestro. We'll make sure we're dropping in to chat Pamela's connection. And check out our new Define Your Path podcast. It's getting rave reviews. Some extraordinary women and men are coming on that show. So until next week, where's our mantra, ladies? Strong is the new sexy. So be strong in mind, body, soul, and business. Define your path and love the skin you're in. I'm Doc V, the Pivot Maestro, and always your corner woman. So I want you to know I am my sister's keeper, and I'll see you next week.